everyone. Welcome to another episode of No Title Needed, the weekly podcast here at the lovely Feinstein's Cabaret at the Hotel Carmichael in Carmel. It's not Carmel, I'm just kidding. In Carmel, Indiana, USA. I'm Cynthia Collins.
I'm Scott Osborne.
Oh, we're the co-hosts of this lovely podcast. Thank you for joining us. Today we have Mr. Paul Hughes. Paul is a cabaret artist. He has performed here at Feinstein's, and I believe...
Well, I believe you're coming back here, correct?
I am, correct, yeah. Coming back with my live band once again. So tickets are now on sale. You can go and get them at the Eventbrite link. On Paul Hughes Official, that is my social media, Facebook and Instagram and all that good stuff. So if you missed it first time round, my band are awesome. There's some, we have some awesome musicians. Terrence Mayhew is the musical director. So come out, have fun, and we're going to be doing a night of great songs from the Great American Songbook. So come out, and also my own songs that from my EP. So I'm excited to come back.
Excellent. And when will you be back here?
Well, we're going to get in town. We got some TV and stuff to do. And, of course, Mrs. Meg Osborne there is fantastic. She sorted all out for me. So a big thank you to Meg and her lovely husband, Brad, and you guys for having me on the show.
We're happy to have you.
Doing the show on Friday, October 11th. I had to think about it then, so not too long at all. So go get your tickets, and look forward to seeing you all there.
Let me ask you something, Paul. Obviously, you're from across the pond, from Great Britain. Is it Manchester?
Manchester, yes, Manchester, England. A little town called Middleton, Manchester, which is a little town where I grew up. Definitely my hometown, and yeah, miss it, of course. I miss the food more than anything. I put a few pounds on since I've moved to America, but, it's all that living in the South now and that good fried chicken and everything. But I do fish and chips. I do miss the traditional fish and chips. You can't get it over here like you can in the UK. So that's my first stop when I land in England. My wife says, okay, Paul, we're going to the chippy. I call it the chippy there. So, yeah, I miss that a little. But
Yeah, I know what you mean. But you're in South Carolina now, right? You currently reside in South Carolina, yes. And you guys are hit pretty bad, right?
Oh, we got hit so bad. It was over 100-mile-an-hour winds, and my fence blew down. That's never fun, is it, when your entire fence blows down, and then all the shingles on the roof came down. But of course, here's another interesting fact. In the UK, we have slate roofs. So this is all new to me, with shingles and, the roof, that don't last like they do in England. So, when I moved, it's all a bit of a learning curve, but getting with the program now, guys. So, but yeah, all the shingles nearly came off the roof. So.
How long have you been in the States?
Oh, yeah. Go
ahead. How long have you been in the States for?
I've been in the States now for 9 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I met my beautiful wife, Carla, on a cruise line. I was doing all the big headline shows for Royal Caribbean. We met on board, and I said it was easier for me to take the plunge to move over this side of the pond rather than her come over. So to my side of the pond. So that's what I did, and I've been here since, and we've been married almost 8 years now. So yeah.
Well, good for you. That's
Congratulations. Awesome. Yeah, so you headlined on the cruise ships, and is it your
17 years?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, yes, and I work the ship, so I'm right there with you. But
did you?
Yeah. Do you do and with a cabaret act, you're a cabaret artist. I'm sure you're constantly switching up your set a little bit.
Yeah. Well, because I'm kind of doing jazz music, the Great American Songbook. There's so many great songs, to feature. So we really have a blessing in the fact that we have so many songs to choose from. But I do, like to change arrangements a little bit and put my own stamp on them. So definitely, even if you come to the last show, we'll definitely be doing different songs. mixing it up, and who knows, something a little bit different. The band do a little section in the show, so they're going to do a different section that they do for about 5-6 minutes. So, like I said, my show is just a fun time. We have a laugh, we get the audience involved, and it's just a fun night. And the food is great with Feinstein's, and the coffee, right? We've been drinking the coffee, so.
And it's nice. This is a lovely space here, Feinstein's Cabaret, modeled after 54 Below in New York City. And how do you like performing in this space?
I think it's a really nice room. James is, it's funny because when I worked there in January, James had just got to the room, so he was trying to work out the sound, and he just took it over. I think he'd been there for like a week, and I wasn't aware of that last time, but the sound was even great then, and now it's even greater because he's got the room how he wants it set up. And no, I mean, it's just a great sound. It's a great venue for people to come out. And in fact, the funny thing, well, it wasn't funny actually. In January, there was a blizzard, and I was surprised anybody came to the show, and we still had about 70 or 80 people. So definitely in South Carolina, that won't happen. You get an inch of snow, and everyone's panicking, and the fire brigade come out and everything else. So, but not like Indiana. I think people expect the cold weather, and they came out. So it was another great night, and yeah, I'm just excited to be back. We're working on a lot of live performance now. Of course, we did my EP at Capitol Studios and on the Frank Sinatra microphone, which was super, super cool. We also worked with Gordon Goodwin Big Fat Band that were on all the Disney movies like The Expendables, and so it was a pleasure to work with those guys. And so if you haven't seen my EP, go onto my website, paulhughesmusic.com, or you can just go onto my social media, Paul Hughes Official, and you can see all my things there on Spotify and all the social media platforms. So go and have a listen.
That sounds great. Yeah, we'll definitely be posting that link on this page as well as we upload the video.
Yeah. Well, Paul, it sounds like you are really you're really moving along. You've weathered the storm down there, that's for sure. So far, I mean, it's over now.
It literally weathered the storm. Yeah.
You got through it, but it sounds like you're constantly moving ahead with your career, which is fantastic. And it's cabaret artists. It's not so easy all the time. Some people just don't get into cabaret, and they don't understand the concept.
Oh, right.
And
Yeah.
but
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, but it sounds like, I mean, it's great you're coming back here. So we're going to take a quick break. Mr. Paul Hughes, he will return to Feinstein's October 11th with his cabaret, him and his band, and it sounds like it's really going to be a really good show, and very interesting. He's doing the Great American Songbook, which spans so much music. Not everybody realizes that. But thanks, and we'll be right back with Paul after this little breaky.
All right.
Okay. Hey everyone, we're back at No Title Needed, the weekly podcast here at Feinstein's Cabaret at the Hotel Carmichael in Carmel, Indiana. And today we have Mr. Paul Hughes. He is a cabaret artist. He will be returning here with his cabaret show to Feinstein's on October 11th. So please don't miss it. It really does sound like it's a really blast of a show. And so Paul, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. Go ahead, Scotty. You got the question there for him.
Paul, I was wondering what got you into your line of work and what got you into cabaret.
Well, it was funny. It was funny you should ask, because it was my grandfather quite a few years ago. Well, many years ago, run a social club in England with my grandmother, and he was never really a professional singer, but he would always, he would like kind of greet and host the night. So he would like welcome the turn, as they call it in England, on the stage, and that's how I began kind of seeing singers when I was about probably 8, 9, 10 years old, and he'd be always singing like Frank Sinatra, the Rat Pack Around the House, but he had a good voice. He was a good singer, and I always hated Christmas parties or birthday parties because my aunties and uncles would always get me, especially my grandfather would put me on this little stool because I was so small. And then I'd do like sing a bad version of Nessun Dorma. and make all my own words up. So that was not, I hated it, but they would force me to do it, especially when they were getting drunker on a kind of a bit tipsy on a New Year's Eve party or something. So that's how I got started. And then as it went on, I just developed, a love and a passion for this style of music. And that's how it happened. And, I drifted into it. And that's where we are today. We just keep going and going and going. And we did the EP. And yeah, so that's how I got into the game.
Very
It sounds
interesting, yeah.
excellent. You know what? And a lot of people in the business, you hear that and it influenced at home and their parents or grandparents and I don't know, I guess everybody's going to be happy they put you up on that apple box or soapbox to start out in the living room because if you want to see that, come to Feinstein's. He's a little taller now, and he doesn't have to stand on a box, but
I don't stand on the stool anymore. So yeah, it's a great show, and we include, like I say, we include the audience. We don't just kind of sing. It's not a typical kind of jazz show. We do something a little bit different, and yeah, come out. It's a fun time, and the food is great at Feinstein's. I know that because we always get like the meal before the show, and me and my wife, we love it there. You know what I mean? We love it. So have a great night.
Paul, you're awesome, number one. And please come out and see Paul Hughes on October 11th. And you're right, Paul, it really does sound like it's going to be a fun show. And that's what Cabaret is about. It's about engaging with the audience. It's an intimacy, and it's not, there's no fourth wall, and everyone is really engaged with the performer. And really, you sound like, speaking to you now, we've never met, but just speaking with you now, I mean, I get the feeling that, you're so personable, right? Mm-hmm. And you're so warm.
Yeah, I try. It's good you said that, Cindy, because I think that a lot of people kind of have that wall, like you said. And, for me, that's fine. Everyone has their own styles. But I just kind of like to include the audience. And I think that's a fun time, almost like the Vegas days when you saw Sinatra at the Sands Casino, and you can still hear on the recordings, you can still hear the plates and the knives and fork hitting with Bobby Darin as well. He was one. So, I'm just glad that there's places like Feinstein's now that, kind of cater, and you can still relive those days and have a nice meal with your significant other, a few drinks, and after a hard day's work or hard week's work, and you can relax and go and see a show. It's a good thing that Feinstein's do that. It's a good place to go.
Yep.
As a non-stage performer, I know both of you two are, I think that there's a special aura that, is glowing around you guys during that performance that is like, after the show, you see them and it's like, wow, that person is, it's just like, there is that, when you said that barrier, it's like, yeah, when you see that performer after the show, it's like, they are a person, but they're still just glowing with this energy that, they were on the stage and they feel
beaming.
it, we feel it, yeah, beaming. But I got one more question for you. And
The question of the week.
the question of the week.
Question of the week. Here we go.
Yeah, and what was your favorite childhood song?
I probably can't tell you because you'll never guess. You'll never get, and you won't even expect this to come out of my mouth. But funny story, when I was 12, I was a little bit older than getting put on the stool. Then I went on vacation holiday, as we say in England, with my grandfather, my grandmother. And my grandmother was sick, actually. It was the last holiday with us because she had esophagus cancer and she wasn't doing well. Still well enough to go on vacation, but she was struggling a little bit. And there was a karaoke. And if you remember the Meatloaf song, I Would Do Anything for Love. I would do anything for love. That was the first song I ever sang on karaoke. So that's the song that sticks out for me as a young 12-year-old. You said before 15, right? So that's the song that sticks out for me. And you probably had thought I was going to say Stormy Weather or some famous Sinatra song, but no, it was Meatloaf's I Would Do Anything love. So
Great album.
Love it.
Great,
Yep.
great album. Bat Out of Hell. One
Yep.
of my favorite all-time albums.
especially the bit in the middle of that song when the woman comes in and does her thing. I mean, that was a wonderful album. A crazy story about Meatloaf. Just quickly, I know that we're on a bit of a time thing, but you know, he actually said on an interview that he thought there was setting up recording companies because everybody turned him down at first. He couldn't get arrested. Well, he could have got arrested, but he just couldn't get arrested with getting a deal. And he carried on and carried on. Eventually, some record producer or some record guy saw him and give him a shot. But it's not an easy business, like you said before, Cynthia. So it's you have to keep going and never quit. That's my advice for anybody getting in the business. If you believe in yourself enough, invest in yourself. If you don't invest in yourself, nobody will invest in you.
That's right, I concur. Perseverance, I always say perseverance. Scott, go.
Okay.
Because I go.
Sweet Child of Mine, Guns N' Roses.
Oh, wow, that was fast.
Another great tune.
Yep, that was my favorite childhood song. It just that introduction was changed the. It made me want to play guitar as a kid.
Oh my God. Okay, so here's what, unbeknownst to me, my sister said that my very first favorite song was "Hey There, Little Red Riding Hood." It's very obscure. Hey there, little Red Riding Hood. Okay, so that was my favorite one, and I have the 45 framed in my house because
Awesome.
that's what we used to listen to.
Come to the show on the 11th and we'll do like a little duet of Little Red. We'll funk it up a little bit and do a little Red Riding. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Yeah, you're looking at me thinking, is this guy crazy? He's not really going to do that, is he? But no,
Are you kidding?
I'm just kidding. But that,
No. Listen. I don't think you're crazy. I'm in for a penny, in for a pound, Paul. So
yeah.
Wherever you're sitting, you know.
nothing's. But listen, thank you. So that was our question of the week, Paul Hughes. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
And Cynthia, I really do appreciate you having me on the show. I'd love to do it again with you guys, and I wish you all the success for the podcast. And yeah, thank you once again for having me. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Thanks.
And the next time you're here doing this, you're going to be sitting here. We're not going to be
Yep.
looking at you on a screen. Okay?
I know, personal. That's just, we need to make it more personal. But it's great that we could do this. I mean, because you know we're open to technology now, and that's the problem, isn't it? When we have a storm now, because people rely on technology so much, and then we go dark and everybody panics. But technology is a great thing as well that we can do. And
Yeah, exactly.
we were blessed and privileged. Really.
That we can talk to you, I know. It's wonderful. Paul, thank you, and the best of luck with your cabaret on October 11th, right here at the beautiful Feinstein's Cabaret at the Hotel Carmichael in Carmel, Indiana, USA. Please come out and see a show, even if you come see Paul's show. But there is something going on here almost every single night at Feinstein's Cabaret. So please come out, support the cabaret artists, support live performing arts, support visual artists, such as Scott. But, and thank you. Thank you, Hotel Carmichael, for letting us do this every week here. We really appreciate it. And thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Mr. Paul Hughes. And we'll see you next week, right?
Yeah.
I'm Cynthia Collins.
Scott Osborne.
Toodaloo.